This is the toughest event that one can possibly sign up for, at least in India. When I was looking at nutritionists, I said, why do I need one? Basically, I knew I needed an A team, which can help you to cross the line without injuries, and most importantly, cross the line. When I signed up for the Khardung challenge, I clearly know that this is something that I've never done in my life. This is the toughest event that one can possibly sign up for, at least in India. Basically, I knew that at my age, when I'm kind of 63 and when I'm going to run Khardung challenge, and I would be 64, and I needed an A team to ensure that my niggles are taken care, but most importantly, a nutritionist. Because I think all three play an extremely important role. But today I want to basically talk about nutrition, because that's something that most people don't focus on when they are preparing for an event like this. We are recreational athletes, but somewhere down the line we have crossed the line and we have moved as endurance athletes, right? And that needs a very, very different approach. It needs you to be formally having a team which can help you to cross the line without injuries, and most importantly, cross the line, right? I think that's an important one here. I was having my diet was good. I've run so many marathons, but why a nutritionist when I'm looking at something like this? Because I knew that my body is going to be in tatters, right? I need much more recovery. My strength needs to go up. I need to have a better understanding about my physiology, because I don't know, because I am getting into a zone which I have not been earlier. I have been to, this is an area where the oxygen levels are so low. I don't know how my body will react. We had only heard horror stories about this event, right? And every person that came across who had done it or not completed it said how difficult it is. So therefore, it is a no-brainer that you need somebody who understands your physiology, who can actually help you to ensure that you're in your best health when you're running on that event. So therefore, for me, the choice was obvious that I needed one. The question was on who, right? So when I started looking, and I started speaking to many athletes, my colleagues, my friends, one thing that came up was I realized I needed somebody who understood sports, right? Who understood the rigors that gets needed to be taken care to make a success out of an event like this. And therefore, I started looking out for people who understand this. And I didn't realize that I had somebody as close as my home who could do that. Pragya was one. I had a couple of runners who said, why don't you try it, Pragya? And I came to Balcal. And I was fairly reticent because I was not sure what I was signing up for. The first time I was signing up with any dietitian. And I had something in my mind from my own experience, professional experience told me that I needed to evaluate somebody on various fronts before I signed up. Do they have a great process, have the institutionalized process which ensures that I'll not be left in the cold, and I don't want to be dependent on one person, individual, because that person may or may not be with me when I need. So I needed an organization to help me. And when I came into Balcal, I clearly found out that they had an organization, they had a team, they had a process which I felt could be of help, and that was my early assessment. But then when I started speaking to them, I realized that I had come to the right place, right? The reason is as follows, is because the professionalism with which my assessment was done, that told me that until you really diagnose me well, there is no point start giving me a medicine without a diagnosis. So I knew that I had come to the right place, but there was lot many miles to cross just beyond the diagnosis. So that was the choice, right? And then I said that, okay, you need to have one person that you can have faith on, and then I had faith on Pragya, and then I signed up. So I was really amazed at the way the process got rolled out to help me, meet my objectives. We had about 3-4 months time to do this planning, the entire planning exercise. So clearly 2-3 things came out. A, there was somebody who was completely dedicated with me. They knew the importance of the event. So they had kind of ensured that they had all my data in place. They had what I call as an app, which had the technology basically wherewithal to ensure that my data was in place. They were taking my vital statistics. And the best part was there was an accountability coach. There was somebody who was pushing me to do the right things. It's not that, you give a prescription and you just allow the person to decide whether he wants to take the pill or not. Here was a situation where there was somebody pushing me every day, every week, expecting that I should upload my data and have some kind of an interaction, saying that I'm on the right path. And best part was, they were triangulating my training load, my nutrition, and my recovery, right? To keep adjusting my nutritional requirements, to ensure that I was always on top of the game. That's something that I really appreciate, because this is something that normally you would not find, because nutritionists, being nutritionists, they may not have the wherewithal to understand what it takes to do an event like this. And thankfully, Pragya and her team, who do a lot of running here, were able to do that. So that's something that is. Second thing I would again like to mention is the accountability part. I think that stands out as the single most important thing that drives performance. Performance, to ensure that you do what you are supposed to do. Nutritionists can only do that much to ensure that they can do their part. But that incremental nudge to get me to do the right things, having the right food, and encouraging me to ensure that there was somebody who was always there to clap for me every time I did a small achievement towards the goal was really nice. Right. The monthly one-on-one interaction that I was having was greatly helpful, because it gave me the a forum where we could discuss things that normally could not be discussed on phone, right? So I think that overall, I will not call it whether it's a package or not, but overall I think the way the process helped me through the preparation for the event meant basically that I was far more confident when I went to Khardung. Now I'm basically going to talk about those 14 days that I was supposed to be there. There the event was unfolding in front of me, and I knew that my nutritional requirements may change there. So I kept on talking to the team in Balcal, and my dosage of nutrition kept on changing based on how I was feeling there. The situation was fairly tense, because I knew that I basically knew that I was on the firing line now, right? And I needed to perform, and the team had worked with me. But the good part is, even a day or 2 days before the nutrition plan, we were still going through, before the event, we were still going through the nutrition plan. Saying, okay, this works, this doesn't work, let's do this, let's change this. End of it, the best part is, on that day, barring the fact that I overdid what I was not supposed to do, I went and overdid it, the nutrition worked for me beautifully. One of the reasons why I was able to kind of come out successfully and possibly became the oldest Indian to complete this race, right? At 64, I think I am. There was nobody close to that age who was running that event. So I think that basically says how much nutrition actually played a role in my journey. So not only Khardungla as such, I think any professional or any amateur or any recreational athletes who wants to build up his running career, even as a passion, would need guidance, and I would very strongly recommend that people should invest. When they're investing in such a beautiful passion, they should also invest in themselves, and that basically means you should have the right kind of a guidance and not look at Google. Google is beautiful, YouTubes are very nice, but they only take you as far as saying that you need help, right? And if you try to use Google or YouTube to ensure that you are able to to take that advice, that may not be curated to you. It's good. It's a good content to have, but it doesn't curate specific, plans for you. I think one thing that I must add, that a nutrition plan puts enormous amount of pressure on the family, because we are used to having a certain kind of a diet, and in the family, especially my wife, she played a pivotal role to ensure that she actually sacrificed so much to ensure that my meal plans, which were very different from our usual meal plan, meant that she had to sacrifice and get into an uncomfortable zone to create special plans for us. I think that's something that I think needs to be taken into account when you are also kind of planning your nutrition as part of your overall strategy. It is going to put a bit of strain, and you need to ensure that you make everybody comfortable at home. One thing that happily I discovered was that my diet really didn't change. It was moderated, right? I was having the same diet, I was having the same, being a South Indian, my usual diet comprised of a veg diet largely. So there was not major shift, other than the fact that they got moderated, the right quantity got decided. There was some shift in terms of bringing in a few more additions like millets, which normally we would not consume, but we enjoyed millets also. So there was not a drastic change. There was no drastic change in the products that was getting into the house. To that extent, we were all comfortable, that we were not in a completely alien territory when it came to diet. I mean, that's something that I think I would very strongly recommend that everybody should, who aspires to take this up seriously, must sign up with a good nutritionist, and I have no doubt that I found mine.